Welcome, Sens Talk.
Russell winds in, feeds it back across the track, and scores! Brady Tkachuk makes it 2-0. Giroux, hit alone, scores!
Tim Stutzel across, Tkachuk score! The captain, Brady Tkachuk, buries it with 1:18 to go.
See you later. Go, Sens, go.
Welcome to Sens Talk. My name is Brandon Plant, and I am your host. Tonight, Ottawa took on the San Jose Sharks, the worst team in the National Hockey League, and frankly, a hell of a battle. This game, you might as well call it the Tank Bowl. Both teams are bottom three in the National Hockey League right now, so this is a game where, for a team like Ottawa, a team not like the San Jose Sharks, who are deep in a rebuild, looking to lose games, frankly, and get a high pick, the Ottawa Senators are, frankly, they should be out of the rebuild with the core that they have right now, and they're looking to somehow stop the bleeding on the season. The Senators going to this game have lost their last 12 out of 15, and at home, by the way, are 8-11-0. And keep in mind, the Ottawa Senators on 2 5-game road trips have went 0 for 10 on those 2 trips. So the Senators have been struggling, to say the least. While the San Jose Sharks have also been struggling, they just recently snapped a 12-game losing streak. So both teams, by far, are not exactly cup contenders at the moment. Now let's get into the lineup notes. Firstly, Rourke Chartier is back after a 12-game absence. He plays against his former team. He's a former San Jose Shark. He looked good today, to be honest with you. Had a couple of good offensive opportunities. But at the same time, he's a third-line center, so there's not much he can do. But regardless, I thought he had a decent game, especially after a lengthy absence. By the way, speaking of lengthy absences, Shane Pinto is back skating with the Ottawa Senators. He's eligible to return in just over a week after that, frankly, ridiculous suspension that he's been serving to start the year. Maybe we'll see him soon. He's eligible to return in just over a week, but it's great to see him back skating with the team, and hopefully very soon he'll be back in the lineup. Now, Matt Sogard was recalled because Anton Forsberg looks to be dealing with a long-term groin injury. He will not be returning before the end of the All-Star break. That is from Jacques Martin today. So, they haven't ruled out Forsberg for a lengthy period of time, only a couple of weeks here. So that is optimistic, but hopefully that absence doesn't continue. But this is an opportunity for Matt Sogard, who has been great with the Belleville Senators, and the Belleville Senators, they were about to win 8 games in a row. If they beat the Marlies last night, they did not. They won 7 games going to that one. They're in a playoff spot right now. They're looking good. Matt Sogard is a big reason why that is the case. I'd love for him to get a few starts at the very least before Forsberg comes back. Now, speaking of starting goaltenders, for the Ottawa Senators is Joonas Korpisalo, starting in net, who has gone 2-8-0 in his last 10 starts. He's not been good whatsoever. Look, he makes some big saves here and there, but there's a lot of stinkers as well. And, when you're making $5 million a year, you have to have an above 900 save percentage, regardless of how bad the defense is in front of him. He has not been good enough this year, no doubt about it. And that reflects in that record. Once again, the team in front of him is doing no favors, but as well, he's not exactly stealing games either. So it's been a tough year for Joonas Korpisalo, and it was a tough game for him as well. We'll talk about that in the post-game notes. And for the San Jose Sharks, Mackenzie Blackwood would start for them. Now, I just noticed the Sens towel behind me is hanging on by a thread. Maybe that's a perfect encapsulation of the Ottawa Senators season. Or maybe not. It just fell. You know what? Let me know what you guys think down below. The only reason I haven't changed the adhesives is the Sens were losing. It was basically a perfect encapsulation of the Ottawa Senators season. Just right down the drain. But let's just say things might have changed after this game in terms of the vibes around the team. Good vibes only is going to be my motto for the rest of this video, just a heads up. But let me know what you guys think down below. Should I change the adhesives? Because that's literally the only reason I didn't change it. You guys seem to love it. You guys are always commenting down below when the towel drops, adding the timestamp and whatever. So if you guys love that, I'll keep it. If you guys don't really care, I'll probably switch it. But let me know down below. But besides that, let's get into the game recap. Enough rambling. To the first period we go, and 5 minutes in, the Ottawa Senators are buzzing and get rewarded for a strong start. 5 minutes in, Claude Giroux, G-Money, deposits it home. 1-0 Ottawa, as Claude Giroux, at this point of the game, has 3 goals in his last 2 periods. Of course, 2 goals in that late comeback attempt against Buffalo the other day. And of course, the opening goal today against San Jose. It's 1-0 Ottawa. Claude Giroux, 13 goals and 35 points on the year as well. It's an utter shame that in 2 years as an Ottawa Senator, the Sens haven't made the playoffs. This guy in his late 30s is playing some of the best hockey of his career, and he's already a borderline, if not a for sure, Hall of Fame player. So it's an utter shame that the Sens haven't sniffed the playoffs or got into the playoffs for a guy that's talented, because he's literally carrying this team on his back. 5 minutes later, the Ottawa Senators continue to push and put a lot of pressure on the San Jose Sharks, and they finally get rewarded and get another one. It's 2-0 Ottawa as Vladimir Tarasenko along the goal line feeds Tom Chabot at the top of the hash mark, and guess what? Shabbat Shalom! Thomas Chabot, 2-0 Ottawa. He fires a one-timer, top shelf past Blackwood and in. What a shot. What a howitzer. 2-0 Senators. Shabbat Shalom, baby. 2-0 Sens. That is Shabbat's first of the year and first goal in nearly a full year, 294 days to be exact. His last goal was against the New Jersey Devils when, Mackenzie Blackwood was in the net for the Devils. What an utter weird coincidence that is. But regardless, 10 minutes in, 2-0 Ottawa. But guess what? That doesn't last for long. As we all know, the Ottawa Senators give up goals like that when they score one. They've nearly allowed 30 goals after scoring a goal this year within 5 minutes, and they do so again a couple minutes later with about 7 minutes left in the first period of play. The former Ottawa Senator, Anthony Duclair, rips one glove side past Joonas Korpisalo from right on top of the hash marks to give the Sharks a 1-goal deficit now. It's a 2-1 game. Chabot did have a screen out front of Korpisalo, but you probably still want to save there as that one beats him low glove side. You probably do want to save there, especially considering at this point of the game there's only a few shots on net. But regardless, the Sharks cut the lead to 1, or should I say bite into the lead. It's a 1-goal game after 20 minutes of play, where Ottawa dominated in the first 10 minutes. The Sharks dominated the latter half of the period. Ottawa was literally out shooting the Sharks like 8-1 until the Sharks scored, of course, and outshot us to close the period 9-8. After a strong start for the Ottawa Senators, the Sharks are certainly in the water and are circling the Ottawa Senators, trying to get back into this one. So let's go to the second period of play, and 4 minutes in, they do just that. Vlasic finishes off a tic-tac-toe play after a Chychrun turnover in the offensive zone, and the Sharks even it at 2 apiece. Stützle as well here needs to do a far better job at back-checking. Just a poor effort there from Tim Stützle, who had a fantastic game, and we'll talk about that in the post-game thoughts, but not a great play here for him as the Sharks tie it 2-2. And the bleeding does not stop there. After the Sharks encircle us and tie it, they bite into us and take the lead. 2 minutes later, the Sens get caught puck watching, and Kevin Labanc is trailing through the middle. He gets the pass, fires home the shot, 3-2 game. No chance there for Korpisalo. I don't know what you want him to do on that first goal of the second period, or this one, the second goal of the second period. And the Sharks somehow suddenly have the lead. It's 3-2. But 6 minutes later, after the Ottawa Senators put a lot of pressure on the San Jose Sharks, they finally get one through. They even this one up at 3 apiece as Brady Tkachuk, El Capitano, slams home the one-timer. 3-3 game. A great play by Tim Stützle along the boards. Forces a turnover. Drake Batherson just on the left hash mark on a backhand saucer pass. And Brady Tkachuk makes no mistake about it. 3-3 game. We are tied. What a crazy second period so far. And a few minutes later, guess what? The Ottawa Senators continue to put pucks in the back of the net with 7 minutes left in the second period of play. Jake Sanderson. This is why he's one of the best young defensemen in the National Hockey League, and by far the best defenseman on the Ottawa Senators, and this is more so why he's worth every single dollar of that $8 million extension. This is a great awareness play by Jake Sanderson, offensively and defensively speaking. He tracks the Sharks player, dumping the puck through the neutral zone, and he clogs the neutral zone, forces a turnover. He starts an offensive zone opportunity, and it ends up in the back of the net as the Ottawa Senators get a nice goal here, as after Sanderson brought it into the offensive zone, Zoo put a shot on net, and Drake Batherson makes no mistake about it. 4-3, Senators lead. What a goal here for the Drake Batherson, and Ottawa reclaims the lead. It's 4-3 Ottawa after 40 minutes of play. And my goodness, like I already said, what an insane second period that was, where the Sharks had 2 goals on the 4 shots they had on net. Look, I can't blame Korpisalo for either of those goals in the second period of play. But I'm also not going to say that Korpisalo has been stealing this game for the Ottawa Senators. I mean, like I already mentioned, that first goal, especially, regardless of the Shabbat screen, Korpisalo has to have that one in my opinion. And overall this season, he's not been great. Let's be honest. He's not been great. And at this point, the Senators have allowed not even more than 20 shots. They've allowed like 11, 12 shots at this point going into the third period. Being only up by 4-3 when you're out shooting them by a 3-1 ratio essentially isn't great. Once again, can't blame Korpisalo for those 2 goals in the second period of play. But that first period of play, I mean, that first goal shouldn't go in. And as you'll see as we go to the third period of play here, I mean, I can't say necessarily blame him for the goal in the third period of play for the Sharks. But once again, you need a save. You need a save, and you need the tough shots to be stopped. They can't consistently be going in. And for Korpisalo, I've been one of his biggest defenders this year. They've been consistently going in. Let's just be honest. He's not been good. When you're making $5 million a year, you have to be better than below 900 consistently. Let's go to the third period of play and look. When Ottawa is leading after 40 minutes, they are 11-4-0. So things are looking good because look, when the Sharks are down going into the third period of play, they are 1-24-1. So things are looking good for the Ottawa Senators as the Sharks have only come back to win, went down going to the third period of play once, just once this season, and things are looking good for Ottawa going to the third period of play. For the first 15 or so minutes, they're playing pretty well, getting some good chances on Blackwood, not really, sitting back, but in the last 5 or 7 minutes, they begin to sit back, the Sharks begin to pressure, and they capitalize on a lazy backhand, clear from Drake Batherson here. Tarasenko tries to clear it, but turns it right over, and the Sharks capitalize as Zadina on a one-time shot fires it glove side. Once again, not exactly the easiest shot to stop, but when at this point the Sens have allowed like 14 shots on net, it would be nice if the goaltender made a really difficult stop. Korpisalo did make a few key stops in the first period when the Sharks were swarming the net, to be honest with you, and putting on a lot of pressure. But once again, 15 shots on net, 4 goals at this point. I don't care about, what happened in the second period of play. At that point, you need a save, even on the tough shots. We don't get one here. 4-4 game. And you know what? At this point, it's kind of crazy to me that the Sens have not got one loser point. They have not lost a single game in overtime. And with a couple minutes left, the Ottawa Senators are putting a lot of pressure on. Things are looking good, but I'm expecting this game to go to overtime. As many of you guys were too, I'm sure. But guess what? The Sens, it's a Saturday. It's a afternoon game. They probably want to go hang out with their families, their friends tonight, enjoy the bit of a long weekend. They have a game only on Tuesday, so they have a couple days off here. They don't want to go to overtime. They want to go home. They want to see the family. They want to crack open a beer and just take a load off for the next couple days. I think Vladimir Tarasenko especially wanted to do that because 3 seconds left. Vladdy Tarasenko has his first iconic moment and his defining moment, frankly, as an Ottawa Senator. When you think of Vladimir Tarasenko's career as an Ottawa Senator, you will think back to this moment. 3 seconds left. Vladdy Tarasenko, walk off. Ottawa Senators, they're going to break the streak as Vladimir Tarasenko puts home the buzzer-beating, game-winning goal as their Sens win 5-4 over the San Jose Sharks. They snap the 5-game losing streak and improve to 15-23-0. That's not so good, but like I said already, good vibes only in this video. The Sens snap the 5-game losing streak. They finally win a game, just like PWHL Ottawa today beat the Toronto team 5-1. The Sens follow up with a win of their own, scoring 5 goals as well, as Ottawa wins 5-4. The 5-game losing streak, the losing streak in general, thank goodness, it's over. The losing streak is over. I don't care if the San Jose Sharks are terrible, one of the worst teams in modern NHL history. Do not care. The Sens got the 2 points, and mentally for this team, that has to be so huge. So huge. And once again, there's nothing like a buzzer-beating goal with 5 seconds left or 4 seconds left, whatever the hell it was. Vladimir Tarasenko, that is the moment you're going to remember when his time is done and he retires. When you look back at his Senator career, that's the defining moment right there. Congratulations to Vladimir Tarasenko on a hell of a moment there. Huge goal. As Ottawa, like I said, were really pressuring in the last couple minutes there in the third period. And yeah, guess what? Eventually the dam will break for the Sharks. And it does so there with or 4 seconds left. Vladimir Tarasenko with the walk-off, buzzer-beating GWG. You love to see it. There's no better way to get your first win in nearly a month than that. Now let's get to the post-game thoughts. And look, a quiet 4-point night. All assists, 4 assists would be a career high for him as well. Had a fantastic game. And hopefully that gets his swagger back. Once again, 1 point in his last 7 games going to this one. That's a huge bounce back kind of game there for Stützle to build off of, especially with Josh Norris out potentially long term here. We're going to need Tim Stützle to really pick it up. Hopefully that can help Tim Stützle get going. Now, speaking of solid performances, Erik Brannstrom tonight had 4 blocks. I always love giving recognition for players who have a lot of block shots. That really shows some grit, some tenacity, putting your body on the line. That really means you want to win this game for the Ottawa Senators. So you always want to give a shout out to players like that who have multiple blocks, especially when it's a guy like Erik Brannstrom, who isn't exactly known for his block shot pedigree, for example, right? So kudos to him. 4 block shots. Hopefully he gets some frozen peas to put on those bruises probably on his leg. Now, Artem Zub, we love Zub if you couldn't tell. Fantastic game for him as well tonight. 7 shots on net and 3 assists. So a really solid performance here for Artem Zub, playing over 20 minutes as well. We love to see that. And he hasn't been great this year. He's been just okay. That was definitely by far one of his best games of the year. Offensively, no doubt, but defensively too, looked pretty solid. Now, Joonas Korpisalo, I've mentioned it already. I've defended this guy quite a bit this year. There's no defense of his performance tonight. He had a .778 save percentage while allowing 4 goals on 18 shots for only 15 saves. Ottawa did a very good job at, really stopping the Sharks from really getting any offensive opportunities going. There's a couple of saves there in the first period that Korpisalo had to make that were tough, but a couple of those goals, the first one and the fourth one in particular, you need to save. The 2 in the second period, I don't really know what you want from Korpisalo, but any night your goaltender of $5 million is putting a below 800 save percentage up, that's not good enough. I don't care what the circumstances are. So Korpisalo, again, has to just be better. Another tough night for him, but luckily for him and for the Ottawa Senators and for us, the Sens got the win. They scored more goals than they allowed. And look, once again, we're going to keep it only positive in this video, so I'll leave it there. But let's just say that against probably better competition, Ottawa would likely not be as fortunate as they were tonight. Now, last thing I'll mention, on a bit of a negative note, let's just be honest, we have to look at the positives and the negatives. I'll leave it off with this, though. The power play does continue to struggle. They went 0 for 2 tonight. They're now 1 for their last 17 on their last 17 opportunities. It's been terrible. They need to change it up. They need to get some guys out front, some big body guys to, screen the goaltender. But as well, they need to really put the puck on net. They've often pass. It's like they're afraid to shoot, to be honest with you. So they need to start utilizing one-time opportunities far more on the power play. So hopefully we see them tinker with it a little bit, get some big guys out front as well to screen the goalie. But that power play and the special teams in general, very much so struggling. A big reason why the Ottawa Senators are not doing so well this year. Now, besides that, I'll leave it at that. The next Sens game is on Tuesday against the Colorado Avalanche at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Let's see if Ottawa can win back-to-back games and claw their way back to 500. But a massive win tonight and a huge moment from Vladimir Tarasenko. The buzzer-beating goal with less than 5 seconds left as your Sens win 5-4 to snap the 5-game losing streak. Besides that, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all soon. Go Sens, go.